Hey guys, it's Aaron again, doing a quick impromptu video this time. Just had some stuff show up from Amazon today. It was supposed to be here yesterday, but it was delayed and just got it now. So we're going to be installing a voltameter onto the pack. So let's take a look and assess our situation here before we even get started. So what I'm doing now is I'm just grabbing some strippers, and I'm just going to strip these wires down just a little bit. These wires are actually a little bit thinner than I expected, so we could definitely make that work, but we'll see here. Okay, so what I've done is I stripped them down quite a bit, and my camera's terrible today. So what I ended up doing was taking these leads and I kind of folded them and twisted them together quite a bit to kind of thicken out the gauge of the wire, since these strands are very, very thin and far and few in between. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly tin them up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now that we're all tinned up, we can just go ahead and put those into our nice little connectors that it came with. Got my crimper tool. Now, I'm going to assume one's a negative and a positive because one's usually bigger than the other. So I'm going to take a good guess here, and looking at our back of our power cell, that the bigger one is the negative and the smaller one is the positive. Yeah. Yeah. So our fat one is the negative and the positive one is the skinny one. So we're gonna go ahead and crimp these in. But before I do that, let's just go ahead and try to stick them on here just to be sure that we're doing this correctly. It's hard to do this one-handed, so I'll just kind of set this off right here. There we go. So our positive lead and negative lead. There we go. So let's go ahead with our positive. We just tinned that, so this should be easy. So let's take these off one at a time. And we are doing our positive. So let's take our positive lead, stick that in there. And then we'll give her a little crimp. One, two. Okay, she's on there, so that's 1, 2. Another crimp. 1, 2. There we go. So I have a plan on where I'm going to be connecting this connector. Now we should just plan on where the hell we're going to mount our voltameter. And I pretty well have a good idea of where I'm going to put it. But let's take a closer look-see, shall we? So my plan was to utilize the D-cell compartment. I haven't used this since I got my talent cell in. I think it was just actually a few weeks after the pack arrived. I think I only used D-cells for the first week just to turn it on, just to see if everything was up and running. And haven't used it since. So I had already disconnected the wires that were connected to the battery compartment, since I'm never going to be using that again. So the plan here is I was going to drill a hole here and put the voltameter here and the battery compartment. So I'm going to drill here, so it's going to be probably 1.25 inch hole to fit the voltameter. All right, so that's going to go right about there. And it's also probably going to end up sitting flush here, but I am going to have to drill through here as well. So as you can see, I've already cut out a little bit more space to accommodate for this 1.25 inch hole that we're going to be drilling right through the compartment. And it's going to allow the wires to run through here while this being attached to the battery compartment door. So yeah, let's get our holes drilled. Okay, so now that I got my 1.25" hole drilled, I also had to make some clearance for our mounting ring. Okay, so that also has room to turn once this is installed onto the battery door compartment. So we can quickly do that. I hate doing these videos one-handed, so there's gonna be a lot of stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. I don't have a fucking stand yet to do this, so this is why video making for me is very, very hard, because I make it hard. All right, so we'll be back in a second. Okay, so now the voltameter is installed, worked perfectly. Let's try to install that back on. Does it close? Yes, it does. Look at that. So instead of drilling a huge ass hole through the back here, I just might run a very small hole through here, just enough for the wires to go through. I haven't tried it with connectors on yet, but like I said, I might just drill again another 1/2" hole right here, just so this way the connectors have enough room and the wires will also go through without crushing anything in there. So I guess we will have to drill another hole, and we'll let's get to it. Okay, so now that we got our hole cut, that should work now. Should be fine. So now when we go to put our lid back on, okay, everything closes, and now everything is accessible from the back. So what we'll do first here is we'll tighten up those screws. Okay, so we'll just do them up. So now that we're pretty well done in there, we don't really have too much more to worry about. All right, now we're just going to take our wire and we're just going to plug our leads in, and then we'll run our wire to our connecting port. So here we go. So now taking note, positive, negative, it's marked. So this side here is positive, and this side over here, let me show you, is negative. Okay, so we'll just plug that in there. And there we go. So that's kind of why we ended up drilling a hole through the battery compartment, just so this way the wires actually had space to come through and not have to worry about getting pinched or crushed or anything like that. So this should just work now. Like I said, very, very quick and impromptu vid that I'm doing here. So where I'm going to plug this in is actually very easy. So we're going to take I'll be back in a minute, guys. So what I've done here is I've plugged this voltameter into the barrel lead that is connected from the talent cell to the Ninja Tunes board. So this is the odd end that I had that hasn't been utilized or used yet. So I just got the appropriate connectors just for that. So we're gonna plug that in, and now we're able to put our cover back on. So let's try it. So I just took the last couple minutes and zipped everything up. I put all the screws back into the motherboard, and also attached the Alice frame. So here's our moment of the truth. Like I said, I know this is gonna work, so it's gonna be no surprise to me. That's why I just decided to zip up and say, we're done. So let's go ahead and turn on our talent cell. Okay. And there we go. So now my nominal voltage for the pack is 12.5 volts. So she is pretty well charged. and is ready to go. Now I don't have to worry about when I should charge my pack and when I shouldn't have to. Now I know through a visual inventory, I know what my voltage is and when to charge. All right, so honestly, this has been probably one of the quickest add-ons I've done to this pack so far. I took, I think, no more than 20-25 minutes to do this. So now we are completely up and running. Everything works as per normal, lights, etc. And your voltage meter all runs all at the same time. So that is it. That is all for today's impromptu 20-minute install or less. Thanks, Amazon. Cheers, guys.